Steve, did your analysis of Swindon over the weekend tell you anything you didn't already know at 5:15 on Saturday?
No, normally how I feel will probably be a fair reflection of things, and I wouldn't change anything that I said after the game. I thought we were the better team. I think Ollie said in his press afterwards we were, or words to that effect anyway. We just had a couple of moments really that weren't quite to our normal standard. So yeah, we've just got to try and be a little bit better at those. But other than that, the performance on any other God-given day will get you 3 points.
And I guess there's plenty of encouragement to take from that, as well as work on the training ground this week, isn't there?
Yeah, for sure. Well, we do that anyway, so that's, I don't know, part and parcel of it. We don't sort of paper over it. We will talk about things. We'll have a meeting in the meeting room about it. We'll look at a lot of things, and then we'll take it back onto the training ground anyway. So yeah, we don't just think, oh well, that's it, and then leave it alone, because you need to work with the lads again, really. So yeah, we do everything as properly as we can.
Joe Tomlinson obviously played in midfield. He hadn't done that before, and so a learning curve for him. Was there anything in that performance that made you think, I won't ever do that again, or it's still encouraging signs?
No, not at all. If I thought that he wasn't going to be able to do that midfield role for us, I wouldn't have put him in there. I would have changed it around, and I would have done something else with our system, but I didn't. I thought Joe done really, really well in there. He's quite flexible. He's almost a little bit like a total footballer. You could play him anywhere and he would have a good go at it. So, it's not just Joe. There's a lot of flexibility in our players if you go through the team. Either of the full-backs. George Nurse has played left-back. He can play left-side centre-back. Jonathan can probably play all the way along the back four. If you look into midfield, we've got players who can play as a 6, players who can play as an 8, players who can play as a 10. We've got wingers who can play sided. We've got wingers who can invert and play on the opposite side. So, all in all, our squad is very, very flexible, and it was something I wanted to do anyway during our recruitment. So there was always a little bit of that to it when we were recruiting.
And I guess a lot of it comes down to a player's attitude, doesn't it? Which, if you're getting good characters, then they'll be the sorts of players who'll give that a go anyway.
Well, I mean, I'm big on character anyway. As I've always said, I'll take character over ability every day of the week, because for 10 months you won't always see that ability, but for 10 months you'll see the good character, and that will take you a long way in the end. And whilst it's nice to have a couple of difference makers, you can't have everybody being your risk takers, and there's only a few of them you can have.
You've used the words pausing and rhythm quite a bit in your interviews this season. I'm not sure I've heard them too often from you before. Is that sort of adding an extra layer to the game, if you like?
Yeah.
And what's sort of given you the confidence or the belief that you can now do that then?
Better players.
As simple as that?
Yeah.
And
you got to keep the acceleration in there as well, though. You just can't go on pause. You pause for the moment and then you're off.
So it's choosing the moment. It's game management, isn't it?
It might be dependent on how the other team are pressing. Where are they pressing from? Where are they trying to press us to? It can be lots of things, really. And rhythm you get from... When I say rhythm, that doesn't mean you're moving all the time in a game. I mean rhythm from doing that week to week. So things become habitual, really.
Barnet this Saturday, a lunchtime kick-off for starters. How does that change anything? Does it just bring everything forward?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it does. It won't matter to us anyway, so we'll be going overnight. We'll be staying overnight anyway. So, yeah, obviously up and an early start. But we did that last year. We had that last year over there as well. So it's fine. We don't mind having early starts, they're fine.
And players train early anyway, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, look, some people perhaps will prefer a 3 o'clock kickoff, and some will prefer an earlier kickoff. The bottom line is, it doesn't matter what we prefer. We get told when we have to play the game. So those are not the rules in football that I'm really, really bothered about.
And what do you make of Barnet's start?
Yeah, Dean's done a great job. I've known him for a few years now. I think he's done a great job there. I think must be probably close to his 7th year there now, and has done a terrific job with them. They're slightly different in their approach to the game this year to last year. I thought they were a good team last year, and they're also a very effective team this year. So we've got to make sure that we play to our maximum to get a result.
And when a team has time to evolve like that, that's kind of the benefit of some continuity, isn't it?
Well, you do get that if you get your manager there, because the reason the manager's there for the time he's been there is because he's done a good job. So that's basically what you do get. You do get that continuity. Even though they've lost a few players as well this year, but seem to have replaced them with some good ones as well. So, as I said, that's all on the manager. He's done a good job. I actually have a good relationship with him. We get on quite well.
Recruitment. Obviously, the transfer window ends actually when you're playing a game, which I guess for starters is going to be an inconvenience. What can you tell us about sort of latest efforts in the transfer window?
Latest efforts. Politely, I'm trying to think of how I word that. Probably wasted a good 3 or 4 days this week. There was 2 players I thought that I was very, very close to signing, and you'll get a period of silence, and then you find they rock up somewhere else. So, yeah, slightly annoying, but then probably better not having them in the first place. So I haven't had any problems with any of the guys that I've signed here, and I'm delighted to have them and work with them.
Is there encouragement to be taken from the fact that you're in for similar sorts of targets that other clubs are, or is it just one of those that actually, when you see those signs, okay, and move on?
Well, it becomes slightly irritating because if you put a lot of work into something and it doesn't come off through no fault of your own, through no fault of the clubs or anything like that, and something else happens, it does become slightly irritating. But to be honest, I would rather move on, because I've probably given them 30 to 45 seconds of airtime. So what we'll do is we'll carry on and we'll try and find some better players and better people.
And are you confident of being able to do that? Have you still got enough time?
Well, I'll probably be able to find better people, yeah.
Injuries? How's Sean McWilliams for starters?
Better.
And James Wilson progressing as well?
Better. Yeah. A couple of little hiccups in training this week for 2 other lads. I'll know more about that tomorrow. One's closer than the other. I'm not sure the other one will be fit. So, as I've already said, our squad's quite flexible, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem.
And do you go with plans A and B at this stage, or do you sort of wait before you finalise things?
We've done A and B this morning. So I've just got to finish off with C tomorrow, I suppose. And that is wait and see. Quite good, that one, wasn't it, really? A, B and wait and see. Yeah. So yeah, that's what it will be tomorrow morning. Quite relaxed about it, where I am. As I've said before, the boys, the team that I get to put out there, they'll be all in.
Let's hope it results in a W.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay.